What's up guys, today we're going to be going over a new game coming out this July called Immortals of Aveum. And I got the opportunity to fly out and be among the first to play this game by EA and Ascendant Studios. So thanks to EA for sponsoring this video and giving me the opportunity to play this game early. And in this video we're going to be going over what the game is all about and showing off some of the things that I really like about games, which are the weapons, builds, and things like that. And just going over in general what Immortals has to offer. So let's just jump right in. What is Immortals of Aveum? It is a groundbreaking single-player first-person magic shooter from Ascendant Studios. It takes place in an original fantasy universe that is engulfed with magic and a lot of conflict, and you play as Jack, a novice battle mage, fighting in the Ehroar, a global war where nations fight for the control of magic. And has been going on for centuries between Aveum's two most powerful kingdoms, taking place in a huge environment built on Unreal Engine 5.1 with combat that is easy to understand but extremely hard to master. There's a lot of stuff going on. So diving into the gameplay, I've said this is an FPS mixed with magic. So what does that even mean? Usually in like a magic based game you have a wand or something to do spells, and the spells will be on a cooldown. But this is an FPS, so while you have things that are going to be called Sigil strikes, which are spells in magic, you still have to aim and almost shoot like a gun and do all the normal stuff in FPS, for example reloading and things like that, but with magic. So the gameplay is super unique where it really does feel like an FPS, but you are a battle mage using spells, so it's kind of like a mix of both fantasies. So just like in a traditional FPS, instead of guns, you have the Sigil Strike, which you can get different sigils throughout the game, which will change the way the spells work. Just like getting a different weapon with a different RPM type, different reload speed, and stuff like that. And in Immortals, there's going to be three kinds of magic to master. There's going to be blue, which is force, red, which is chaos, and green, which is life. So just like, for example, in Destiny, where you have a kinetic, energy, and power slot, you're gonna have a blue, red, and green slot, and every slot will have a Sigil Strike, the kind of like gauntlet thing that is the main attack. You also have a control spell, which will be the right click, and a fury, which will be kind of like an ability on a cooldown. In this case, the furies are recharged from consumables that you find around the levels. So how does this all come together? Let's say you're playing on mouse and keyboard. With the mouse, if you scroll up, you will rotate between the blue, red, and green. If you scroll down, you will rotate between the three control spells. And left click will be your Sigil Strike, right click will be the control spell. Then your Fury spells, which are your abilities, will be on 1 through 6, I believe, depending on how many you have unlocked. So during combat, you will have basically 6 things you can scroll between and use at any time, along with your abilities. So there's a lot of options to you during combat, and you can set all these up in different ways. So you have so many options during combat to fight the way you want, just with your base abilities, not even talking about the builds on top of that. Then of course you also have a ultimate spell, which takes a while to charge up, but the Dominion spell will be a combination of all 3 colors of magic, which will completely demolish anything in your sights and will do a huge amount of damage to bosses. And on top of the Sigil Strike, control spell, and fury, there's also going to be augments, spells that change how you move and interact with the world, which will be used for navigation or even solving puzzles. And of course, Immortals is a looter, so you get loot as you go. And some of this loot would include different sigils, which are just kind of like different weapons in a regular FPS. So for example, the base green sigil I had when I started playing the game was almost like a pulse rifle, where it would be a burst. But then I got a new one, which kind of changed it into like these slow moving, tracking balls of energy that would do a lot of damage, which made it not only easier to aim and consistently hit targets, but obviously do a lot of damage. And those were just 2 I saw in my time. I'm sure there's all kinds that will change the way the 3 magic types work. And there's also going to be rings, totems, and bracers, all of which will enhance or change the way your magic works, or increase stats and things like that. And finally, there is a talent tree for all 3 of the magic colors to not only enhance the way those magic work, but allow you to build into the playstyle you want. So for example, in my limited play, I really like the blue control spell, the Lash, which would pull the enemies towards me. Then I would use the red Sigil Strike, which would be like a shotgun almost, to do a lot of damage to things up close. So I just pull the enemy to me and take advantage of the really close range burst damage of the red magic, and it was pretty fun. Overall, Immortals of Aveum is easily one of the most unique FPSs I've ever played. It really does feel like an FPS, but is a battle mage casting type game. So if you really enjoy FPSs or those more magic focused games, I think this game would be perfect for you, and I think you would really enjoy it. It has a great single player story, along with an incredibly deep combat system that feels incredibly high action and frantic at times, and it has a really high skill gap with all the different tools you have in your arsenal to use at any moment. Only by the very end was I just starting to grasp the way you're supposed to be rotating through all the different sigils, control spells, and using your furies. There is just so much going on and a lot to learn, all while having great performance and looking amazing with Unreal Engine 5.1. Overall, Immortals is a game you definitely don't want to miss. If you want to check out more information about it or even pre-order it, you can do so down in the description. Let me know what you think about Immortals of Aveum down below. I'm just going to let this boss fight play out, where I think I do wipe because I hit a wrong keybind. I was playing on a full keyboard at the setup there, and I usually play on a 60%, so I think I pulled up a command prompt at like the exact wrong time and died. Then I'll show off where I actually beat it. Anyways, like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.